Hi there, Janet Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations. Welcome to my channel and welcome to 30 Days of Sketches, Day 8. The sketch today is by Jennifer Gagne, and this is also a Some Assemblage Required video, which means I'm going to be using some stuff from the someassemblagerequired.com shop, which is going to be some wood veneer. So Jennifer has some layers underneath the photos that are kind of offset to the right hand side, and then she's got an element down the left hand side that looks like a bunch of tags. I'm not going to use tags. I'm going to use a bunch of tickets instead because these photos are travel photos. These are photos of the oldest girl that I take care of, and then that's her mom with her, and this is at the airport, or actually on the airplane when they did a trip to Hawaii. So she sent me these photos, and I just thought it would be fun to document that for them. I don't have a ton of photos from their actual being in Hawaii. I'm sure if I asked her, she'd be more than happy to send them to me. But I wanted to just document the fact that they're on the plane together and having a good time. So I am also using as many of my pocket page cards as I can right now. I just feel like I have so many of them. They just need to get used. They're all really old. I've had them for ages. I don't use them in pocket pages. So I'm going to use them today for a little bit of layering. Now the yellow one doesn't make the cut. It's a little bit too bright. The paper that I'm using is Sun Chaser paper from Heidi Swap. It's been out for a while, like at least a year and a half, maybe 2 years. I'm not really sure. But it's been in my stash for a bit, and I just really liked it at the movement of it because it kind of it's not straight lines. It's just got that nice flow of movement in it, and I thought it would go really well with some airplane photos. And then I had this 3x4 card that had some journaling on it, but I really liked the hearts. The hearts really matched my background really well, so I cut it apart and I just tucked the hearts so that you can see them, and I'm getting rid of the actual piece that has the journaling in it because I don't really care so much about that. And then I have some Vicky Bouton paper. This is from I'm not even actually sure which collection. I thought I had it in front of me, but maybe not. But I'm going to go ahead and use that. Actually, I do have it in front of me, but I cut the branding strip off of it. But it was her travel one. It's I don't know, at least a year old as well. But I'm cutting up some of those tickets, and I'm going to use them as an element down the left-hand side of my page just to kind of create kind of like a border element, but it's not going all the way around. It's just going down the one side of the page to kind of balance out the photos being more right justified than centered. So it takes me a little bit of time to cut all of these out. I don't make you sit through all of it. I did also use a hole punch. I have a handheld crocodile, which has 2 different size holes on it, which were perfect to punch the holes out of these tickets. So I went ahead and used that, and you don't get to see that really on screen because my hands apparently are not on screen, but that's what I used for that. A regular hole punch works as well sometimes for that purpose, but in this case the holes were a little bit smaller than a regular hole punch would be. But if you have one that has multiple sizes, it's a great way to not have to fussy cut out all of those little divots in the end of each of the tickets. So any of the ones that had really tiny spots or larger spots, I went ahead and hand did. But there's a couple of them on here that have airplanes on it, and I want to make sure that the airplanes are visible because this is a flight that they took. Some of these tickets say like train or subway on them, and I don't really care that they say that, but I don't want them to be super prominent. So I'm kind of trying to figure out the placement of them, and then I also want to kind of spread out my colors. I want some yellow on throughout, and some of the blue throughout, and some of the pink throughout. I don't want them bunched up too much where all the pink are in one area, and that was kind of what I had going on. I had the yellows at the top and then no yellow at the bottom, so I kind of decided to cut out another yellow one and then space them out a little bit more, and then also wanted some of the color values to be different. I don't want like the ones that are fully saturated to be right next to each other. I wanted to kind of spread them out to kind of give it a nice balance and flow. And then I don't want them evenly lined up either. So, well, there's a lot of things I don't want on this layout. But I want that kind of haphazard column going up and down the page. I don't want them to be perfectly aligned, aside from the spacing apart from each other. I want them to kind of have that more of that movement, and that's really what this layout is all about, is movement, because they are flying, and so I kind of want to embrace that in this design element. So I will go and cut the edge off completely so it's nice and flat. And then I did ink all of those tickets up in some pumice stone distress ink to give it a little bit of pop and make it so they don't blend in too much with the background. I didn't want them to blend too much with the background because oddly they're two different designers, but they're with the same company, so I don't know if American Crafts plans it that way or what, but the colors are very interchangeable. And I find that happens quite a bit, especially within same companies. I know designers intentionally do that, but I don't know across designers if that's a thing or not. But these two collections work really well together. So I'm just taking those leftover bits and creating a little bit of a ticket element top and bottom of my photo. And I really like how that looks, because that's going to give a little bit, bring those tickets and those colors over to the photographs, and a little bit more of the deeper saturation of color, because I chose to use the ones that have the more saturated colors. Now I thought I might use this acrylic piece that says "Just Go," and it has an airplane on it, but it was a little bit too bold and vibrant for me for this particular layout. So I'm going to use some wood veneer from the Some Assemblage Required shop. MK has tons of travel stuff in her shop. You can see off to the left-hand side on top of my Caterpillar, there's a whole bunch of different wood veneer pieces that are all travel related. Now, a couple of these pieces did come in the advent calendar that she did in for the beginning of December. But I believe the ones that I actually end up using on the page are actually ones that are in the shop, and you can still get them provided they're not currently sold out, which I didn't check today. So I know she just had a big sale going on for her 3-year anniversary while we were on our cruise. And so I didn't check the stock before I put this up, but go and check and see what she's got. I will put the links down below for you so that you can check that out. Now I am using this other journaling card that has a grid pattern on it as a journaling spot. It was a 4x6 card. I cut the design element off of it, and I'm just using the leftover grid element so that her mom can do a little bit of journaling on there about their trip, or what was going on their flight, and what kinds of things they did while they were flying, or notes about the travels. So anyway, I don't have that because I wasn't with them on this particular trip. I have traveled with my families before in the past, but this is not a family that I typically travel with for these big trips. I've gone to Tahoe with them a couple of times, but I don't usually go on the big trips with them. They have a lot of family that is not too far away, and so they tend to usually go with family, which is fine. I think it's great. So those clouds came with one of those airplanes, and now I'm just looking through a big stack of wood veneer. This is not from the Some Assemblage Required shop. These have been in my stash for, I don't know, 8 or 10 years maybe, but there are a whole bunch of alphas and numbers. And so I'm just looking through there, and I want my title to be out of wood as well, because I've got the other wood elements on there. And my title is just going to be Kona Bound, because they were headed to the Kona coast of Hawaii and into the Kona International Airport. So that's what I'm using for my title. I also don't want my letters to be all the same height, because I didn't have enough for all of them to be the same height. So I think I did not have a capital B that was the same size, and possibly a capital D. So I decided if I can't make them all the same, I'm going to make them all kind of different heights and stuff. And so, you know, just embrace it and go with it if you can't do it. So might as well. In fact, that might be a capital P that I'm using for the B. Now, I did have enough of these other letters to go ahead and do the whole thing, and I probably could have used those, but I didn't really like the font as well. They're all, I'm not sure what I didn't really like about it. I could have easily gessoed them and colored them and made them a different color, but I wanted the wood color because I've got the wood going on in the other embellishment areas. So that was my main thing, is I wanted the wood, and so those other letters did not work even though I had enough of them. They are pre-painted wood that came in these metallic colors, and it wasn't working for me. So I went with the ones that I had, and I am lining them up as though there is a line down underneath the word Kona, and the letters from the lower word are kind of like hanging from it. And I really like the way that that looks. It also adds a little bit more movement to the page. Thank you so much for watching. If you have questions or comments, you can leave them down below. I apologize you don't get to see their faces. That's blocked out for their own privacy. So I hope you don't mind that. Don't forget to go check out everyone else. There's a link to the playlist for 30 Days of Sketches down below, so you can go and check out what everyone else is doing, as well as a link to the products that I used from the Some Assemblage Required shop. And that is it, you guys. I will see you guys again tomorrow with another video. Bye-bye.